worth 25 cents once it ends up in the bank or a store, or in your pocket or purse. But what goes into a quarter is really only worth a few pennies. And it's not till it leaves the mint that it becomes real money. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia makes an average of 3 million new quarters every day. And they all start out like this, as huge rolls of nickel-plated copper. When quarters were first minted back in the 1790s, they were made mostly of silver. But in 1965, silver was becoming scarce. So the U.S. government switched to this nickel-plated copper. To turn it into quarters, the rolls feed into a blanking machine that stamps out nearly 300,000 quarter blanks from each roll. The blanks spill into collection bins. And while it may look and sound like you've hit the jackpot, think again. The blanks are just plain, round discs at this stage. There's no heads or tails, and they're still not worth a quarter. They're at least about the size of a real quarter. But these blanks are in for a huge upset before they become real money. That's because the blanks have to survive a run through a powerful machine called an upsetting mill. So called because it upsets or raises the rims of the blanks along their edges. To raise the rims, the mill forces the blanks through a very tight squeeze. So we ask them to slow it down so we can see what happens. The blanks feed into the gap between a rotating steel disc and a steel rail. The gap is a fraction of an inch narrower than the width of the quarter. So the edges of the discs have to squish in and rise up to squeeze through the gap. And that leaves the blank with the raised rim you feel around the edge of a coin. The rim is needed so the quarters can stack. And it also helps the blank hold its shape during what comes next. The coining press, where the blanks finally start to look like quarters. That's because a hammer pounds each blank between two dies, like these. One of the dies imprints the heads design on one side of the blank, and the other adds the tails. And talk about shaking your moneymaker. The coining press works so fast, it can strike 750 blanks every minute. So it literally makes $187.50 a minute. And more than $11,000 every hour. An inspector scrutinizes random coins as they spill out of the press to make sure there are no scratches or other flaws. And if the samples pass, the coins spill out of the press and into an automatic counter that fills giant totes with 200,000 quarters, or a value of $50,000. But even now, these quarters aren't worth a quarter. They don't become money until they're released to banks.
Washington, D.C. Before a coin ever becomes a coin, it has to be voted on by Congress. All in favor?
Say cha-ching. If Congress thinks it's a good idea and the president approves it, a new coin is authorized for the United States Mint to make. Did you know there are 6 mint locations in the United States? This is an artist at the Mint. He draws pictures of what the coin will look like. If you had to make a coin, what would you put on it? The president? A dog? Maybe the president's dog. See how big we draw the coin? That's so we can sketch all the tiny details. Just think, if the Mint really made coins this big, we'd all have to get bigger pockets. Once we decide on the look of the coin, the sculptors at the Mint will either model the design in a computer or model it in clay. When the clay model is finished, we make a plaster cast of it and sharpen the details. Then we scan the plaster cast into a computer. This turns the model into computer data. Computer software uses the data to drive cutting tools. The cutter mills the coin designs onto blank hubs that will stamp dies. After that, all the dies are checked. Only the best dies are used to make coins. Then, the Mint feeds big rolls of metal into the side of the machine. Out of the other side, blank metal discs come pouring out. This machine cuts up the scrap. One roll of metal is as long as 5 football fields and can make up to 325,000 blanks. Now it's time to heat up the blanks to make them soft. Then they're cooled. Then they're given a bath. And finally, they're dried off. Look how clean and shiny they are, or what we like to call minty fresh. The blanks are sent to a machine called the upsetting mill. The upsetting mill raises the rim on both sides of the blank to prepare it for the coin press. Remember the dies we made earlier? They're now inside the coin press. This machine presses the die into the blank metal disc and makes a coin. The new coins are then checked for quality, counted, and put into a jumbo bag. Jumbo bag is then moved by forklift. Then and taken to the Federal Reserve banks. From there, they will be sent to banks across the country. After that, you spend them on all sorts of stuff or save them for your very own coin collection.
And that's it. Now you know how coins are made. To learn more about how the Mint connects America through coins, or play online games and find lesson plans, visit our website. Thanks for